Ooh, so much destruction. GXMMAT sent me this 6-post rack for review. This thing is attempting to compete in the entry-level squat rack market, which is way more bloated than me during a last night pizza run. The real question is, does this cheap rig really got what it takes, or is it another laundry hanger in my garage? Right off the bat, this thing actually brings something unique to the table, which is a true 6-post power cage setup. Most of the entry-level squat rack would actually give you 4 posts and a prayer. This one gives you an inner cage, which gives you confidence during heavy lifts. In short, my ego lifting game has upgraded. Is this flawless out of the box? Hell no. There's something missing in the beam, which we'll talk about later. But first, let's see what comes out of the box. This thing carries what you would typically expect in an entry-level budget gym equipment. Gauge 14, gauge 16, everything is the way it has to be. But one thing I did notice is actually the thick gussets around the equipment, which is about a gauge 12, 11 steel. I like that it's thick, so it actually lessens the wobble on this machine. And the nameplate is actually thicker too. Wonder why they made that. Maybe so it doesn't collapse when you look at it wrong. Why don't they just actually transfer this to all the tubing system? Gauge 12. A mini-me gauge 12. The posts contain 1-inch hole with at least 3-inch spacing. J-hooks are pretty decent, nothing to write about, but I like how this one is well protected with this layer. It can fit from the inside or outside of the rack, depends on where I actually wanna die. Best thing I can say about this package is actually the amount of accessories that came with it. You have 4 of these band pegs, dual dip attachment with varying hand placement depending on where you actually want to wreck your shoulder. This foot plate for low rows and seated bench rows. This long, thick, black landmine handle with its handle horns, of course. Some functional trainer attachment like this D handle with 5 levels of adjustment. I actually love the knurling on this one. It's pretty solid. I'll keep this. Now that pull down bar, the straight bar, the leg strap, and the tricep rope. With those amount of accessories, that's a plus for me. And right up top, you have the multi-grip handles for your pull-ups. Watch out though, it's a little bit of a grease trap. If you don't want to slip on this one and accidentally fall on your neck, you might want to put some athletic tapes over it. And here at the back part, you have a vertical storage for your barbells, 2 of them. Plus you have some mini hangers to hang more stuff. Whew, it's hot. Let's go back to the selling point of this machine, the power cage. There's a big difference between working in a very hot garage versus the paramedics finding you under 300 pounds of weights naked. This prevents that. Now I love the idea of having a power cage, but first let's talk about this beam because it kind of bothers me a little bit. From the looks of it, it does look like it's a gauge 14 steel, but I do question the integrity on this one as it's a hollow tubing and it's missing one important thing. Can you guess what it is? Yeah, you're right. It's missing a protection on this surface. So once the drop happens here, it's gonna be metal on metal violence. That's a negative for aesthetics. But then I might have the wrong idea of using power cages. Because from what I understand, these things are meant to be failed on. So things can be dropped on this area. I am kind of reluctant on dropping weights here, but this is bad subject. Let's do it. So as expected, there will be blemishes with the paint job. Surprisingly, the integrity remains, but then again, that was just the bar that's falling on it. So what do? We fail on it. Ah, shit. My bar is almost done too, huh? And yes, you can still see some blemishes here. And I think this was from the edge of the barbel. So if there's one thing that we all learned from this experiment is that for you to always use rubber. Overall, the beam had sustained some scratches, but it does have good structure integrity. I would say these things can take at least probably 400, 500 pounds. If you're doing 2 to 3 plates, there's a big chance that it can still hold it, but beyond that, I'm kinda a little bit hesitant. So take that with a grain of salt. Now moving on to the functional trainer system, this machine uses a high tensile cable system with aluminum pulleys routed all over the machine, and it does utilize the posterior post, that's weird, which is actually integrated in a square tube carriage that has plastic inside to glide against this aluminum steel. It's plate loaded. The problem with working in a garage that's about 300 degrees is that when I got this, the inner plastic with the gliding system felt like it had warped in, so I had struggled placing it inside and it wasn't gliding really smoothly. Into the scene, my white grease. Using this actually made it more smoother, but just to let you know, when it's hot, there will be trouble with this gliding system. So get ready with your lubricants. One thing I appreciate with this system is that the shaft is actually slightly angled, so it prevents it from falling off. It's always good to have a shaft that's angled, just like in life, because you can hit the right spot. Single movement like rows, lat pull down is actually amazing on this machine. And I could say dual functionality also works with this machine, such as this cable crossover, pulls, and presses. But here's where the problem lies. Because it's a plate loaded system, the amount of workout that you can do with this is directly correlated to the amount of plates you have. If you have several 5 pounds and 10 pounds, then you won't have trouble jumping to increments of 5s or 10s. Think in a situation where you only have 25s and 45s, then this feature becomes a problem. As for the landmine, which I actually placed wrong, this should be on top because I'm an idiot. I got nothing on this one. It's omnidirectional, it does what it needs to do, and this horn is good enough to deliver what you need. Close grip, wide grip, whatever grip you want. As for my suggestions, what can be fixed? GXMMAT, do me a favor, let's put some rubber here. Can we just ditch this type of system? I'm not just talking about GXMMAT, everyone. Let's just ditch this system. If possible, this thing should be converted to a weight stack system. It'll level up the game. The storage system. You have 2 options. There's a big gap here where you can place a lot of items, or expand to the side where you can put a lot of plates or any hangers for other equipment. And lastly, with the evolving squat rack systems out there, throw in some jammer arms, tornado arms, leg holders, accessorize more, because I can see this thing having multiple ecosystems. Price mark on this machine is actually between $750 and $650. I think they're having a promo right now. GXM gave me a code with an incentive, but you know how I roll. I don't want the incentive, so I'm returning it all to you guys. I think you guys get 20% on top of the sales. So if you use my code, Ben's Nuts, then you get this, I think, for at least 600. Is it valuable? You determine it yourself. I'm only here to give you an insight. But what do you guys think about this 6-post rack? Does it have any competitor that I missed? Let me know. And that's about it for this review. Stop skipping leg day, and I will see you on the next one. Oh, you're still here. Well, I forgot to mention that the packaging is actually awesome and the instructions are really organized on this machine, so you won't have any problem building up the machine. The only problem is a numbnuts like me who thinks he knows it all actually switch both of the functional trainer arms upside down. So yeah, don't follow my stupidity. Ciao.